All right. Una, good evening for all una, and good evening for all our people and for Ground Zero, for all the people and for North America. Una, good afternoon for all una. I be una brother Asu, una the press secretary for the Executive Office for Governing Council of Ambazonian. I don't come to this evening and for actually can give a very quick, important, and very special message to all the forces them for Ground Zero, to all our commanders them, to all the generals, to all the fighters, to all the defense groups them for Ground Zero. This message now it be made, it go directly not only for the forces but also for the general public. All right, when I come find when I place day, we will make this message maybe very short. So, one first of all, when I sabi say over the last maybe 4 days, just this past 1 week, waiting the Ambazonian forces across the 13 states, waiting they don't do them for Ground Zero. Even La République du Cameroon, their top general, when I be responsible for the B, General Nka, he don't wash hand. La République du Cameroon, their top general, General Nka, he wash hand for the for Ambazonian forces. He wash hand for waiting just for 1 day, for 1 weekend, waiting the Ambazonian forces across the 13 states, the actions would be fit for carrying. So, would it show a level of our forces that it show a level of professionalism, a level of offensive operations against La République du Cameroon? There is a reason. These forces, they don't become more courageous, they don't become more disciplined, they don't become more tactical, they don't become more daring, they don't become more experienced. Every day we pass by, the forces that get more knowledge, more experience, and they become more, they develop more skills for fight and for lead. Wait till I want to tell you now today, the thing will happen for ground and why this message be important for the forces. I'll tell you a story first. I just hear today from one of our defense strategists say a commander for ground for a block. He work with the communities. Within 1 month, that commander, through a relationship we get with the community, he will be able to raise money for 4 AK and 1 machine gun. Because of the fighters, their good relationship with they get with their community, and the trust with the community get them for these fighters and this commander, for the war way it do them, for number 1, protect the people. Number 2, defend the communities. And number 3, for liberate the land. When he call all the villages and tell them what they need them, those communities, they mobilize enough resources for buy 4 AKs and 1 machine gun. A very important lesson this for all man. A very important lesson this for all generals and commanders. Commanders, sometimes diaspora, they go be a little bit slow for deliver. Una communities, for every block, any force we there for any block, now that force be the sole authority for that block. Any Ambazonian defense group where it control a certain block, it operate a certain block, make you know say, now that group, na that general, na that commander be the sole authority for represent Ambazonian for that block. Any block, any place where a top general did it, a good commander did it, and they get a force where they operate for that place. Now that commander, now that general, now that force be the authority on the ground. There is no other authority on the ground other than our defense forces. The secondary authority on the ground. Now still the traditional chiefs and the community leadership. Now then they be the secondary authority. The defense authority during this period of liberation now it be the sole authority on the ground. The Supreme General of Ambazonian Defense Forces, because he now they control the largest force and the most powerful force on the ground. Now it be the Supreme General who will lead the war on the ground in terms of the ideology, in terms of the liberation strategy, in terms of the defense leadership, in terms of the community leadership. Now General Efan, he represents the voice of all the fighting forces on the ground. No matter the block where any soldier did it. As the top general, we get the biggest force, it control the biggest army, the most trained and most equipped in terms of their work for work with all the forces them. Now General Efan represent the voice for all the fighters on the ground. Because he embody the political leadership for which the Ambazonian people that they fight for. General Efan understand what the Ambazonian people that they fight for, why they fight. So he carry all the fighters, their quest. He represent them. So now he represent the defense leadership, the liberation leadership on the ground on behalf of all the fighters them. So any place where any group did it, that group not the authority for ground. The war don't change. We move to a professional level for place where La République du Cameroon, any group will get 5 to 10 AK. La République 70 they even pass there. A group will get up to 5 to 10 AK. La République in need to pass. Any group will get this thing. My opener for any defense group will get a machine gun. La République they pass today. Once you start a soldier, a commander, a general, it start for give a forces powerful weapons, you be safer. You get a high level of security and protection. La République, when La République hear the sound of AK, they hear the sound of machine gun, they run because they know what it mean. Once they come up for that, their armor car, they hear the sound, then they fire AK. You fire your AK. Now they know say na pound by pound. They know say na AK by AK. Now when you move your machine gun, the game don't change. You didn't have a different level. You didn't have a different place of the war or fighting. So that's why when I hear about the story of that commander where he mobilized community for make community help, make they buy better materials for protect the community and for defend the community. Now for that court cafe, now for that no say the defense leadership for ground on the take shape. And when I see say they say since we start to put all these pictures on for outside, it don't inspire other commanders, other forces, for them for start, for adopt, for grow. So my message to all the generals, the fighters, and the commanders, it be very simple. It be short. We'll get straight to the point. Number one, now when I be the sole authority on the ground. La République du Cameroon, their occupation for Ambazonian, it be illegal. And therefore, their government for Ambazonia, it be illegal. It be illegitimate. Commanders will not take control. Generals will not take control. Now will not be Ambazonian authority for ground until the time for transition period. Then it will move from the defense leadership on the ground for institute an Ambazonian transition period. Until then, every commander, every general will operate for a block. Now you get the sole power for your block. Now you get the sole power, the sole authority for maintain peace, maintain security, and keep the people them in harmony. But for you to be very successful as a commander, you must build a good relationship with the communities, with the population for your block. The community must see you, say you get their interest. You carry their interest, their protection, their respect, their safety, especially for our girl picking them, especially for our picking them, especially for our mommy them, and for all Ambazonians. Regardless of the tribe where that person commode, as long as that Ambazonian they live for that community, you must treat that Ambazonian just like any other Ambazonian. That Ambazonian therefore feel safe for that community, just like any other Ambazonian. And any place where they operate, the population now on the first line of defense, now on the first line of intelligence. So your relationship with the population, your relationship with the community, how good that relationship be, it will also make how safe una be within that community. How good that relationship be, it will also determine the kind support. When you call for a meeting, you call say that the thing that this will need one exception. Una make sure say una the way we wanna work with the population, no excesses, no day. Una need to tax the population, so we tax una this amount of money. Now an appeal to the population. Una get for appeal to the population. Not be na some kind tax where una get for impose them upon them. Just like una say self, the fight where una the fight like voluntary fight. Because you know say that the best thing if you do for Ambazonian people them. Una get for appeal to the population, appeal to the community, saying that the things and this will need them. If we get these things, and then when I look the size of the population, when I make sure say they say the demand also being a way to the fee afford them. If when I demand for the which is diaspora the supply for now, it be a little bit slow. The population get for be at the secondary base for fund the revolution. Through cooperation, through understanding, just like the example of this brave commander and brave general we bring. We don't also get that example a few months ago from Meme, a commander for Meme, with the kind of way they work for the population. When I remember, I can't show on the video, we put them out for outside here for una, and when I listen for the general, we talk for the community. That community, they come together, a few villages they come together, they provide those forces them with money for buy 6 good weapons. Now the authority that we wanna get them. They wanna get this power But make that power be a constructive power. Make that power, make the Ambazonian people, they see una as a positive force. So una behavior towards the Ambazonian people, it got to be good, it got to be friendly, it got to be disciplined. But una hate for La République du Cameroon, it got to be bitter. Una hate towards Cameroon, it got to be a poison. Hate Cameroon with all your heart. Love Ambazonian mami, pikin them, sister them, brother them with their whole soul. Hate La République with every ounce of blood within inside your skin. But respect Ambazonian people them with everything where they also they inside you. Now your future that. Now your defense that. This country would own, I don't take over. This defeat when I don't defeat La République du Cameroon. Now I be in charge. General Efang now I be in charge. Lieutenant General Popo now I be in charge. General Capo now I be in charge. General Bube now I be in charge. Captain Small Pikin now I be in charge. Commander Talk and Do now I be in charge. All the generals, the general we don't replace General Kata, now I be in charge. For the various blogs on a day. Grandpa Devil General Sumanguru, now I be in charge. The land they under una hand. The powers of una gone. It give una the authority for defend the land, protect the people them, and liberate the land. And it also come with the authority for make sure say na Ambazonian get that authority for ground zero. The place where you dey, make La République du Cameroon is not ever fit for exploit anything. Whether you control the block, we see this today, may they not ever fit for exploit any Ambazonian resources. If you dey for place where they move timber, make one stick, one big lock of timber, make it not ever come off from Ambazonian forest. Make one truck for carry timber for your block, it come out. May not ever happen. May one drop petrol, it not pass for roadway you control that block. No Ambazonian resources, no Ambazonian natural resource, it go ever come out any block where you operate. If it happen, you be compromised. If it happen, that means you take bribe from La République du Cameroon for leave those things that may happen. Because the reason why you did now for take control, now for mount authority, because now you represent the new Ambazonian. You represent the takeover. So any place where timber motor the pass and Ambazonian fighters the day, then there is something fishy and there's something wrong. If Ambazonian forces they for some place and 3 kilometers away, La République they exploit natural resources, then there is something wrong. Then your purpose for day, your authority need to exist. That means your block be very weak. When I take charge, when I don't do very well, I will be extremely proud of una. For which when I don't do for the Ambazonian people them in the last 4 years. Now it's time for take charge. I want also tell when I say, Paul Biya politically, it need to exist again. La République politically for Ambazonia, they need to exist. Only their army remain. So Muna not ever allow any political impostor in the name of a senator, in the name of a parliamentarian, may he ever pass your block. Ambazonian no elect a senator, he not elect parliamentarians. Anything in the name of government delegate, may it not exist to your block. Ambazonian not ever elect anything in the name of government delegate. Any enabler or traitor for your block, he represents la République du Cameroun their interests. Not be Ambazonian. And therefore, the day now for administer occupation and colonialism, and it be a crime. Una copy from the examples of other commanders. No commander after 5 years is supposed to carry bush gun the fight. No soldier after 5 years and you get a block and you get communities, why you still get bush gun? The only reason we still carry bush gun now because you not build a good relationship with communities. If you build a good relationship with communities, you will be armed after 5 years. Una take control. Una take charge. The war don't almost finish in terms of the liberation strategy. The governing council of Ambazonian, it will continue to mobilize resources, for give as many forces, for equipped as many forces as possible, for train as many forces as possible. We move now for the place of training, for make forces them become more professional. While the block by block peripheral forces, they continue to be the harassment force, for harass the enemy, for disturb the enemy, for shake the enemy. While the professional forces them, they do the clean up, for move them out. So that relationship between the big forces and the peripheral forces, we encourage all the forces on the ground. We now continue to cooperate, we now continue to collaborate, we now continue to work with one spirit. Or we now fight a common fight. We now not live and make any person a twist on a head for attack another fighter waiting for your corner. You move another fighter waiting for your corner, you could become very vulnerable. No matter what some person tell you. The only time that if you be under attack, and we protect ourselves from internal threats. I want also appeal for the civilian population. We want to show respect to the fighters. We want to show respect to the forces. And to the forces, that respect, again for being something we want to also show respect to the population. We want to take charge. We want to work with the communities. If supply for diaspora slow and it not be enough, we want to work with the communities for make sure say we want to get enough for protect ourselves and for protect our communities in a friendly way, in a cooperative way. Now we want to be the authority now for the land. Now we want to be the governors of the land, I call and so. Now we want to be the custodian of peace, security, and stability for the land. Now we want to be the Ambazonian power for ground. The political leadership is there for secure diplomatically what you want to fight for. and for provide the leadership will govern the quest and the aspiration and the hopes of our people them. We now work for ground. Now it be the key to our independence. So that's why I want to encourage una, make una take full charge. Now the land now it enough on una hand. If Ambazonia they get bad name, if a force they operate for some place and bad things that happen for that place, then that general be responsible, the commander for it be responsible. If some force they operate for some place and kidnapping the over plenty for some place, the general for it go be responsible, the commanders go be responsible, the forces will be responsible. Because you know if you operate for some place and you live and make bad things that begin to happen, now they are forced to carry a bad name, and that bad name become the for now. Even if now another force they come out for some other place, can't do bad things for another place, no, not ever leave and make happen. I want them. We maintain the integrity of who we be in terms of the liberation. Because the love we get them for the community, our actions towards the community, it will determine our security too. Because if a traitor there within the community, now the community go expose the traitor. If a spy there within the community, when a relationship with the community go expose the spy. But if we are not treat the community well, then the community, when spy did it, they will be very happy. Now the small talk this have daughters can share them with una. So that on ongoing basis, all we did for one page. Things that go very well in terms of the strategy. So we want to keep on with the good work. For the forces of Ambazonian Defense Forces, the contributions where the Ambazonian people don't give, it already go for ground for the place where they supply materials. All what you give over for Saturday, it already go. It don't go. Excuse me, I want to sneeze. So all what the Ambazonian people, they contribute on Saturday for supply, expand the stabilization forces. It already go. The forces where they did for training, will be very happy. So we encourage all Ambazonians for continuously support the forces because the battles that they increase, the pressure they increase on La République du Cameroon. The fighting they increase. I get a call today from Bamenda. They call me, put me for, say, yeah, what did happen? You hear? You hear? Forces that they battle La République du Cameroon 24/7 for all the blocks. And Bamenda at the center of the fight. ADF don't surround Bamenda. The whole Bamenda don't be surrounded. ADF don't put brigades all across the city. So there is no escape for La République du Cameroon. Any place where they want show head for outside, they knock them. Like the whole city of Bamenda, ADF don't surround them. They don't put brigades all around Bamenda. The general for they don't put brigades all, small brigade them all around Bamenda for coordinated attacks and action. So when I trust the strategy, when I trust the work, when I trust what we do, Paul Bia, the time don't end. Now that they look, they find some way. We'll discuss that one in a few days. But in terms of Ambazonia, Ground Zero day for the best shape in terms of the liberation. The forces that they do great work. So we salute all the generals and commanders. For General F1, we want to tell you, say, your cafe day up. In fact, I get to make new cap for General F1. Your cafe is day up. For the one way we see you did one. Lieutenant General Popo, una place day. Grandpa Devo, your place day. We see una walk. The leader don't promise the Ambazonian people there's something special. We get May, June, July, August, September. We get the next 5 months for do big things and for ground zero. For put Ambazonia for some place. So that by October 1, we'll see what you got on ground zero. We'll work for the next 5 months. Now for move Ambazonia for the place where by October 1. Now all man will celebrate. All man will dance. So we'll get 5 months for battle La République du Cameroon and put plenty things in. Those things where they scatter Amoka. ADF, the pack them for ground zero. Yes. Those things where they scatter Amoka. ADF, it the manufacture them, the pack them. It divide them. That's so that they make them, divide them. So that every place for Ambazonia, La République no go ever fit for pass today. So any soldier them, where they there for some place, and they never know how to use that trap with the knock Amos car, and La République still be around on a block. Una contact Capo Daniel. The Ambazonian Defense Forces, it go to supply these things for all forces them across Ambazonia. We'll get 5 months to move the war to a beautiful place so that by October 1, our people will come off for street for Ambazonia, put their flag for up and celebrate. And I talk this one, Buan just can't talk for all now. For all our soldiers them. When I get a great evening, one thank una, one appreciate una, we love una, una be our heroes, una be our heroines. Alright? Now una be the warriors of this generation. Una place day. Una get very high place for heart. So we thank una plenty for the way we una do and for all way. We love una plenty and we respect una plenty. Alright? Any boy, any girl, any man, any woman we don't wake up for 5 Ambazonia, you be a very special human being. You just be a special human being for what you do for the Ambazonian people. You be very special. So you get a special place for our heart. We thank you plenty. May God bless you. Short live the war of liberation, and long live independence, freedom, and the destiny of Ambazonia. Now get a good night, all man.
I this day where God make up for we. This is the day the Lord has made. Democracy has never been given on a platter of gold. Amen. Your freedom will never be given on a platter of gold. If we do not, I mean, it is zone, you to be buried. Maya was doing what almost being a pro. Managerial. Down what you became with them, I want. A man be born more in therapy, but I have heard a mark was on it.